It is 6 a.m. in Washington. It's noon in Cairo. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is World One, live from London. Police armed with batons, shields, and tear gas are clashing with anti-U.S. protesters in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. It is the fourth successive day of violence sparked by anger over an obscure film made in the U.S. and released on the internet that mocks the Prophet Muhammad. Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood is calling for peaceful protests at mosques today, but there is concern that we will be seeing more violence. Well, protests have also spread across Yemen, Tunisia, Gaza City, and Morocco. We want to bring you the latest now from Cairo with journalist Ian Lee. Ian.
Well, Monita, things have calmed down right now.
Thanks, they're live from Cairo. Well, these are indeed very tense times for U.S. diplomats around the world, especially those in Muslim countries. And right now, there is particular concern about what might happen after Friday prayers in countries where anti-American sentiment runs high. Anna Coren joins us now from the Afghan capital in Kabul, where she spoke with U.S. Ambassador James Cunningham. Anna.
That's right, Monita. We did catch up with the ambassador, who obviously is concerned about what will happen.
Anna Coren there live for us in Kabul. Well, as for the deadly attack in Libya on Tuesday, a senior Libyan official says 4 people have been arrested. 4 U.S. diplomatic staff were killed in the eastern city Benghazi, including Ambassador Chris Stevens. Tells CNN the Benghazi attack was most likely carried out by a pro-Al-Qaeda group, and there has been speculation that militants took advantage of the furor over the film. Well, joining us now with the latest on the investigation is CNN's Jumana Karachi, live for us in Tripoli. Jumana, tell us a little bit about what more is known about this radical militant group Ansar al-Sharia.
Well, Monita, there are a number of different extremist groups operating in the eastern part of Libya.
Jumana Karachi on the phone there from us from Tripoli. You are watching World One, live from London. Spain's austerity measures are cutting deep, but welcome back. Greece is expected to unveil further budget cuts at a meeting of European finance ministers in Cyprus today. That's as fears of a Eurozone breakup and a Greek exit appear to be fading. It's been a big week in Europe. European Commission President José Manuel Barroso has laid out his plans for a Europe-wide banking union. He says a federation of Europe is unavoidable if the single currency is to survive. Meanwhile, only a week after the ECB said it was prepared to buy government bonds to bring down soaring borrowing costs, they are already coming down. And you can see that in the lower yields of bonds from Greece, Italy, and in Spain. Well, despite that, there's still speculation that sooner or later, Spain will have to ask its EU partners for a full bailout. And the government is trying to head that off, tackling its budget crisis by slashing spending and increasing taxes. We want to bring in CNN's Madrid bureau chief, Al Goodman, with more on that. Al.
Hi, Monita. Well, the Prime Minister has said twice publicly this week in an interview on state television with the visiting Finnish Prime Minister.
Al, thank you so much. Al Goodman reporting to us there live from Madrid. You're watching World One, live from London. Paradise plundered no longer. The world's coral reefs and their inhabitants are breathtaking in their natural beauty. But for a fishing village in Mexico, a nearby reef was also its source of survival. Then everything changed when one man decided enough was enough, and that's reaped dividends, as Philippe Cousteau reports in our Going Green series. You are watching World One, live from London. A warm welcome from an unlikely quarter as the Pope arrives in Lebanon. Who's been hanging up the welcome banners? This is also looking at the security measures it had in place around the consulate in Benghazi that was attacked on Tuesday. Pentagon correspondent Chris Lawrence reports.
Was the U.S. consulate in Benghazi...
Well, let's see what newspapers around the world are saying about this. We'll begin in China with the Global Times and this headline: regime change policy hits hard reality. It's an editorial that says the assassination of the ambassador and his colleagues underscores the bankruptcy of U.S. foreign policy in the region. While Washington may have believed its regime change policy would bring on moderation through democracy, it would appear extremism is gaining over moderation. The headline in the International Herald Tribune: for the U.S., Egypt outweighs Libya. It goes on to say the violence in Libya and Egypt reinforces what has been true from the start of the Arab uprising last year. These are homegrown popular movements over which the United States has limited influence if any? And finally, in the United Arab Emirates, this headline in the National: who lost Libya? The U.S. must now worry about losing Syria. It's a comment piece that goes on to say Libya can sort itself out in time. The real issue is elsewhere. What if, in the course of a long civil war in Syria, the jihadist element in the opposition takes the ascendant and seizes power in Damascus? Then, who lost Syria will be a real question, and the whole world will want to know the answer. One issue, many views, and of course you can read all those articles in full at facebook.com/W1CNN. A message of peace against a backdrop of violence. Pope Benedict has flown to the Lebanese capital, Beirut, where he is due to speak in just a few minutes from now. Is in Beirut. He joins us now with more on the Pope's visit. Mohammed.
Well, Monita, the Pope's plane is expected to touch down now any minute.
Mohammed, thank you for that. You're watching World One live from London. Scenes like this are getting all too common in Baltimore. It's only week 2 of the new NFL season, but the Packers have proved it's too early to write off their chances. Alex Thomas is here with that and much more that's coming up in sports.
Yes, Monita. Aaron Rodgers says the Packers' offense needs to improve. He thinks is the best current footballer, Monita.
Going back to the NFL, if the World Sport team needs any help, assistance, I think you could call upon our Jim Bolden.
Yes.
He's quite the expert.
Lots of sports, actually, Jim.
Yes, he is. So, you know, that's a
Not
shout out to
business.
our Jim Bolden. No, he's a man of many talents, I tell you. Just saying.
Yeah, it's well worth saying.
All right, Alex, thank you very much for that. You are watching World One live from London. Coming up next, there's royal fury after private pictures of the Duchess of Cambridge. We have this development coming into CNN this hour from Egypt. Earlier, we had been talking about nationwide protests being called for in Egypt by the Muslim Brotherhood. But now, according to their official Twitter account, they have announced that a protest will only be held in Tahrir Square in Cairo to demonstrate against the film that reportedly was insulting to the Prophet Muhammad. They are saying that the Muslim Brotherhood are canceling nationwide protests and saying that protests will only be held in Tahrir Square in Cairo. So that's just what we understand right now, that that's what they're saying according to their Twitter account. We'll of course bring you more on that in the next hour here on World One. We'll take you live to Cairo for an update on that. But for now, Britain's royal family is dealing with another privacy scandal, this time involving the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. A French magazine has published pictures of a topless Kate Middleton. The photographs were taken when the royal couple were on holiday in France last week. He joins us now live with more on what's being said is potentially overshadowing the goodwill that they are sensing and they're feeling on their tour right now. The couple certainly have had a good relationship with the media up until now. It will be interesting to see what that relationship will turn into after this incident. Max, thank you very much for that. Max Foster there at the Solomon Islands, and of course that's where the couple will be heading to after their trip to Malaysia. Well, just 3 weeks after southern Japan withstood one of its strongest typhoons in years, another similar storm is threatening the region. Meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center with details on that. Mari.
Hey, Monita, this is a storm that has developed very, very quickly. We've been monitoring for the last few days.
Mari, thank you. I'm Monita. Rajpal. World One continues after the break. Do stay with CNN, the world's news leader.